movieweb.com.
This film has a very authentic feel. I mean, Viggo and Vincent Cassel, they basically meld into their characters. It's very Russian. Can you talk about getting to that point, what you had to do as a filmmaker to get your characters and get the sets to an authentic place?
Sure. Well, I think the first part of being a good director is working with good people. And especially in terms of acting, casting is really, it's a key. And it's a part of directing that's not very well known or very well understood. And a lot of people think that the scripts maybe come with actors attached and then the director just goes ahead with whoever the studio or the producers want, but it's not like that at all. It's in casting wonderful actors like Vincent and Viggo that's the start. You've got actors who are very sensitive to language. They have a musical ear, you know. We've all seen wonderful actors doing very bad accents in movies. I really didn't want that to happen because you can be a good actor but somehow not have that musical ear for language. Both Vincent and Viggo speak several languages. And Viggo in particular is also a composer and a musician, and that really helps when you're trying to get those very different tones from a different language. Not only do they speak Russian in the movie very well, but they also speak English with a Russian accent. And you can imagine for Vincent, who is French, this is sort of a double whammy that he has, the double thing that he has to overcome to do. And then there's body language, you know. It's Russians, the Russian gangsters walk in a particular way. There's a kind of swagger that's not like anybody else's. They hold themselves in a certain way. They're aggressive in a very particular way. It's not Italian, it's not American, it's unique. And all of those things have to come together for you to believe that these characters exist as fully rounded humans.
Sure. Now, the crux of this film is about, you know, human trafficking and sex slavery, and this horrible thing that's happening to a lot of Eastern European women, people from Darfur. It's just really one of these things that's very, very common and omnipresent. We rarely ever see in film. What did you want to tackle this subject? What made it appeal to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, humans are very curious creatures, you know. They're wonderful and magnificent, and they're also hideous. Can be hideous at the same time, and at the same time, you're looking as a dramatist for, well, George Bernard Shaw said, conflict is the essence of drama. You know, if you're going to be a dramatist, you're looking for conflict of some kind. It doesn't have to be physical, but it can be, there are many emotional and psychological kinds of conflict. And the sex traffic trade is endemic, really, and it's at the moment, a lot of it is very Eastern European. It comes partly from the emergence of a new Russia and new Eastern Europe with the fall of the Soviet Union. It's not just the sex traffic. It's the whole idea of criminal capitalism. You know, in Russia, we're seeing the emergence of, in the last 15 years since the fall of the Soviet Union, of capitalism in its most raw and primitive form, without hundreds of years of sophistication and development. And part of that comes out in things like, you know, huge prostitution rings, drug rings, and so on. It's for me, you know, and when you're making a movie, of course you're a dramatist and you're inventing things and you're fictionalizing things and you're compressing things, but at the same time you're responding to what's going on in the world. You're curious about it. And when you make a movie about something like the Eastern European multiple subcultures existing in London, it forces you to do research and to get into the belly of the beast, you know, in a way that maybe you never would otherwise. That's one of the things we love about movie making.
Steven's script is brilliant. The film is brilliant, and it shows a part of the Russian underworld that we really don't see, particularly when Viggo is getting his tattoos and going through the ritual. Yeah. How realistic is that? I mean, is that something they actually do? Because I know the tattoos are very, you know, omnipresent. Yes. But is that really similar to what they go through?
Well, I think there we were kind of compressing what would happen over a series of years into one or two basic scenes. Normally the tattooing would be done in prison. The tattooing developed in these prisons over 100 years, that the the symbology. You know, what do the tattoos mean? They tell what crimes you've committed, where you've served time, in what prisons, and how high up you are in the criminal hierarchy, and so on. And we kind of invented this one scene of a kind of ritual that normally, as I say, would happen, but it would take place in a prison, and it would be secret. You're actually not allowed to do tattoos in Russian prisons, but they do it. I mean, it's everywhere, and I think the guards and so on just kind of look away because they know what it means. So we were exaggerating to a certain extent, but the essentials, the meaning of the tattoos and the importance of them and the ritual significance of them, that is all accurate.